Okay. What is your last name?
Johnmeyer.
Please spell it.
Johnmeyer.
First name
Bob.
and middle initial.
J.
Okay. What year were you born?
1947.
Where did you live when you became part of the military?
I was at Fayette, Missouri when I joined the Marine Corps. Well, actually, I was in Columbia, Missouri. I was in college.
Student?
17 years old.
Oh, wow.
Already a sophomore.
That's how old we are.
Wow.
Yeah. I went to a one-room schoolhouse for grade school, and they closed it down. And my brother was 2 years older than me. And the teacher said we had the same amount of education.
Oh, wow.
So we started,
Right.
he started high school when he was 14, I started when I was 12.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So I started college at MU when I was 16. Graduated when I was 20.
That's amazing.
And then was in the Marine Corps. But,
Right.
you know, got a girl pregnant, had a son, and then my second son was conceived before I went to Vietnam, and then he was born while I was in Vietnam, and so it was a roller coaster.
Yeah, and you were just a
Moving
young
on.
You were
man.
young.
Yeah,
All right.
had to grow up fast.
Oh, yeah. So what branch of service were you part of?
United States Marine
Mhm.
Corps.
And how did you get into the service? Did you volunteer or were you drafted?
I joined what's called the platoon leaders class as a sophomore. And I went to a summer camp in Quantico, Virginia. And then when I was 20, I went to the second summer camp. And then when I graduated, I was commissioned as a second lieutenant and
Oh, from
officer in the
those,
Marine Corps.
from the summer camps.
The summer camps were in Quantico, Virginia. That's what they call Officers Candidate School.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
OCS.
That's
uh,
okay.
so-
Awesome. Okay. When did you first start your service?
It's hard. I guess when I was in the reserves, you know, while I was in college. I went on active duty, I think it was March of 1968. And I went straight, you know, after I got through some training, I went straight to Vietnam.
Wow. So why did you volunteer, or why did you go to those summer camps?
They had compulsory ROTC at Columbia at the University of Missouri. So you had to be in Army or ROTC, and you had to wear a uniform, and you had to put up with all that. And with the Marine Corps, all I had to do was to go to the summer camps, and then I was on my own during
Oh, so that's,
school, so I didn't have to put up with
Yeah.
ROTC.
that's nice.
Back then, ROTC was compulsory at the University of Missouri.
So you had to do
You had
it.
to do it for, I think, 2 years.
Hmm.
And after 1 year of that, I said, no, one semester, I said, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah.
So I joined the Marine Corps Reserves, and I wanted to be a Marine, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Where was basic training? Like
Yeah,
Basic
training.
Quantico, Virginia.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you sent after the basic training for advanced
I
training?
was sent to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina for combat engineering school.
Wow.
So like, did you work with like tanks, that kind of thing?
The
For
work-
did you work with like tanks for combat engineering?
Mainly for explosives
Oh,
to
that.
blow
Right,
fire
'cause you
support
were the-
bases in the mountains and the jungle in Vietnam.
Wow.
Bringing artillery to the top of the mountains, and we would just leapfrog all the way to Pierce, Cambodia. Then we got there, turn around and give it all back to them.
Oh my
Start over
gosh.
somewhere else.
Because you would sweep for mines? Did you
We
do
did
that?
that too on the roads.
did that as
Yeah,
well?
on the roads. Yeah. When I first got over, that's what we did. That was real demoralizing
Oh,
because
my God.
you know, step on a mine or usually, you know, we was on a road like this, and then we had flank security on the sweep team, and then I had a tank behind me, and we had the probers out there, and then we had the sweepers. We had one guy sweeping half the road, and another guy sweeping another half the road. If they found something, then we'd have to bring up a probers and try to find it, and then blow it in place. And then, but the bad part was the infantry out there on the security. They're tired, been on night patrols the night before, they'd walk along and they'd trip things, you know, trip wires.
Oh
And
my
step on a tomato can with those little prongs and blow their foot off and blow
Oh,
their leg off. It was terrible.
wow. Yeah. Okay. Next question.
I worked with the Vietnamese Rangers after that, and I enjoyed that.
Oh, the Rangers.
Yeah, they were Vietnamese Rangers, a really cracked team, a military team, whereas the regular Vietnamese army was not that well trained, but they were.
So it was a good experience being able to work with
And
them.
I had a demolition team, had a pack stolen, and I told the army lieutenant through an interpreter what happened, and somehow or other they found the pack that was stolen by one of their people, and he shot that guy in the head.
Oh yeah, that was in your.
The lieutenant did, yeah. And I told my people, I said, you know, whatever you do, don't touch nothing they have.
Yeah.
Because if you touch something they have, I'll have to shoot you in the head. Because that's what he did. Of course, they didn't believe me.
Yeah,
No.
that's,
I wouldn't do that, but
man.
I feel pretty obligated.
So what would your, like, what was the job title that you had? Like,
Well, I was a platoon leader.
platoon leader. Wow, that's awesome. Our brother was a platoon leader.
What?
Our brother,
Oh,
he was
really?
his platoon leader.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good, that's neat.
yeah.
Then I became an acting company commander because the captain
Oh, wow.
got killed, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had that job for quite a while. And then they made me XO or executive officer for the company. So I was more or less on the fire support base then, wasn't so much in the field. And I think they did that because I had 2 kids and a wife, you know. And so the last 4 or 5 months, I was in the fire support base in the rear, but I didn't like it. I mean, we'd get hit in the middle of the night and in the middle of the day, and they just lob these rockets in our support base.
So the war you were in
Vietnam.
was the Vietnam War. Was there any other war or anything else happening? Okay.
No.
And where did you begin military service after your advanced training? What was the first place you were,
Where did I begin military service at?
after you were trained and everything?
Okay. I guess I went straight to Vietnam.
Straight to Vietnam.
And then I came back, and then I went to Puerto Rico. I was
Oh, wow.
there for a year. I really liked that.
Yeah.
And scuba diving.
Oh sweet, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice weather too, you know, it's really pretty down there.
Yeah, my brother's stationed in San Diego right now.
Yeah.
So he's been there for quite a few years, so
Camp
it's
Pendleton.
really nice there. We were actually just there over Christmas.
We go down there, it can be a little dangerous, but with a group, we go down to Tijuana and go to the dog races, and then we go to the highlight games, then we go up to the strip of downtown, you know, and then usually the shooting and cutting didn't start till about 10 o'clock. We'd be out there, you know, we'd get a taxi, go to the border, and
Just have a good time.
I stayed in reserves for 10 years after I got out of active duty in the Marine Corps. So I actually have about 16 years, you know, of qualified service towards retirement. But the real estate business was so good, and I was so busy with that, I just abandoned the reserves.
Yeah.
I just
Wow. Nice.
give up my commission.
Okay, so you served 16 years, you would say, in the military? Okay, and then, so what was the reason for you for leaving, or for you to get out?
I was interfering with my real estate business.
Okay.
Because I was actually in reserve, see, I wasn't on active
Right.
duty. I had to just go to summer camps, and then I had to go to Kansas City to the reserve center.
So how long did your active duty last?
4
4 years.
years. Not counting the OCS and
Right. That was from when you were in Vietnam?
Puerto Rico and training.
Mm-hmm.
I came back, I made me a training officer, and because my physical fitness scores were so high. And I'd get there like at 5 in the morning, and then I would run all the troops. Well, first I picked all these sergeants out, the best ones, and they led the whole company, and then in the different companies in calisthenics. And then we hit the road for running.
Oh.
Then I'd run to about 8 to 10 and the company would fall out puking, you know, and then
8 to 10 miles?
then I'd run that much further.
Oh my goodness.
And then whoever couldn't do it, they had to go in remedial PT at 5 o'clock after work
Oh,
Why?
and train again.
wow.
And
So you had,
battalion commander told me, he said, Captain Johnmeyer, I want you off the base. I said, you live off base? I said, I do. He said, well, then I want you out off the base by 3:30, because they're gonna wanna beat you up, frag you, and do something. They don't like that. And
yeah,
I said,
I can imagine.
I just do whatever you tell me to do, and that's it, you know. They knew that. I didn't do this on my own. That's what
Right, it's just.
So the
your
battalion
job.
was
What do you
like
expect?
14th
You're in
up
the
on
Marines.
base in physical fitness, and we jumped up to number 5 because
Wow,
I stayed after them.
that's good, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
We run obstacle courses, we ran 5 to 10 miles, and they didn't like it, but I said, you should have joined the Boy Scouts
Yeah,
or the Air
This is the
Force or something.
Yeah.
You're in the Marine Corps now, so
that's right.
suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Okay, so you served during the Vietnam War. What engagements can you remember from that, or were there any specific
Yeah,
times? I know
I
you
have-
mentioned a lot, and
I have them written down. Counterinsurgency operations, Oklahoma Hills, Taylor Common, Durham Peak, Muskogee Meadows, Forsyth Groves, Pipestone Canyon. Those are operations that we went on to try to engage the enemy in Vietnam. You know. So,
it's a lot. What do you remember most about your time in service?
what I remember most was losing members of my platoon, you know, from booby traps or being wounded.
Yeah.
I can't get away from it. You know, I was only doing my job, but I was so young, and it just didn't seem right for them to get hurt, and you know, me not get hurt. You know, I made some bad decisions, but they were made by people that told me what to do. You know, I just did what I was told.
Right. And it said in one of your papers that you lost like 30 men in 45 days.
Either wounded or killed in
Yeah.
45 days, I think.
My.
And that was on those road sweeps.
Yeah,
And they
that's-
finally took me away from that because I was a basket case, you know.
Yeah.
I was so nervous all the time, and I would, every night I would plot interdiction artillery fire up and down that road on both sides, trying to keep the Viet Cong out of there. But it didn't work. They slipped in there and put it in mine those roads, and it was a nasty war.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Either they didn't even call it a war back then, you know, it was just,
Just a U.S. intervention.
yeah.
Okay. What qualities did you believe you carried from the military to where you are today?
Qualities,
Mm-hmm. So,
honor and discipline,
yeah, I can.
mainly, and physical fitness, a lot of self-discipline.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. What are your most enduring memories of your time in service? I guess that kind of just repeats what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I got back from Vietnam, and my wife had divorced me and moved to Canada, took my sons to Canada, and I was really suffering, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever get to see your sons again?
The battalion commander said, well, would you be willing to go down to I had an engineering degree,
Oh.
would you be willing to go down to Puerto Rico and run this rock quarry for me?
Right.
And I said, I don't know anything about rock quarries. He said, well, we got 2 gunnery sergeants and the first sergeant down there that really know the quarry business. He said, we need an officer in charge down there. So I went down there, and that was great, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
good people, and a lot of work, and got busy, and met some people down there, some Puerto Ricans. And then that was 6 months, and I volunteered to go back down and for another 6 months. And then the guy I went down there with the second time, I mean, he was a scuba diver, so he taught me how to scuba dive.
That's
and
awesome.
we spent a lot of time in the ocean.
Oh, I bet.
We caught a lot of Caribbean lobster, langosta, and ate them right out on the beach, you know.
Oh, wow.
It was a good time.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever get back together with the people you served with? You know?
They're just scattered around. There's no reunions or anything I know of. I mean, not very well.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't. I've kind of suffered from trying to stay away from too much memory of my service in Vietnam because it was so horrendous, you know. It had such a big emotional effect on my
Oh, I bet.
life.
You were so young.
Yeah. How old is your brother?
He's 25.
Yeah.
He joined when he was 20?
That's about how I was when I got out.
That's the end of the
Well,
questions
actually,
on,
I have a few
on
questions.
here, but yeah,
I have a few
we can
questions.
just talk.
So, okay, so you were married 4 times, and then you had 2 sons with your first wife. And then, like, how many kids did you have with your other wives? I'm just curious.
I did. They had.
Oh, they already had children.
One of them had 2 children. Yeah. That was it.
Did you ever get to, like, see your sons again?
Yeah, but it was expensive getting them back and forth from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been over there, and they're neither one married, the boys. They're 50 and right now 50 and 48. And the oldest one runs a school to teach the Saudi Arabians how to speak English
Huh.
at King Faisal University in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
And he has 38 teachers under him.
Wow.
And then my youngest son is kind of a headhunter for him in whatever they call that when they hire people to bring teachers in. Most of them are either Brits, Canadians, or Americans. They have a compound, and the teachers go out. The female teachers teach the ladies, and the male teachers teach the men. And there's not supposed to be any contact whatsoever.
Interesting.
And so my oldest son said that he's only going to do that for 1 or 2 more years. But Saudi Arabia has a lot of oil money, so they pay him really, really well. And then they can send $80,000 a year back to the United States tax-free, according to U.S. law. And then they live on the rest of it. And like that oldest boy probably makes $175,000 a year.
Wow.
You know, and he's building a home in Nova Scotia, a
Wow.
real nice home.
That's
And so when he retires, he's going to be in Canada. You know, so if I want to see him, I got to go to Canada.
Dang.
And I've been up there. It's a beautiful area. It's right on
Oh,
the
yeah.
it's right on the ocean, and it's real
Oh.
pretty, and pretty beaches, and nice country up there.
I also have another question. So, really, I don't actually know what, being the age that I am, I wasn't alive then, you know, like my parents weren't even alive then.
Yeah, they were.
Well, they were like,
68,
they were
69.
babies. Yeah, they were really
little,
young.
little babies.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's not that they remember it. So I don't really know exactly like what happened in Vietnam. All I know is that basically it was just a lot of bloodshed and
Well, what the way it started out was that the country was divided into South Vietnam and North Vietnam. And North Vietnam wanted to take over South Vietnam and make them communists too. And they asked us to help keep the North Vietnamese from overrunning them and making them communist. And so the government or the politicians thought that there was a domino theory that if we let China and North Vietnam take over South Vietnam, then they'd take off something else
Yeah.
and something else and something else. But the French tried to go in and before that and try to help the South Vietnamese, and they were routed out of there. So my guy just fell down.
Oh. Whoops.
The guy just fell clear down. I don't know what he's doing down there.
I don't know.
Anyway, so it was a political war, and people lost interest in it because people just kept getting killed and killed and killed. And the Chinese and North Vietnamese were together. The Chinese were really strong, and they just kept bringing people down the Ho Chi Minh Trail and more weapons, more people. And when they started that, I mean, the troops were well trained, they were dedicated, they were had tattoos on their bodies that born in the North and died in the South, and so they were already brainwashed that they were going to
Yeah.
eventually rout the Americans out. But they never did actually defeat the United States. We just lost the political interest of staying there and just keep getting killed,
Right.
And so it was a terrible, I think they called it armed conflict instead of a war. It was 58,000 people died.
Yeah,
Died.
So whenever you came back after Vietnam, how did
How was
How
I
did-
treated?
yeah,
I got-
generally.
I got off a plane out in Los Angeles, and they were throwing eggs at us.
Oh my
There was
goodness.
a chain link fence, and they were chucking these eggs over on us. And I had a service uniform on, and I was proud of my service. And so I just went straight to a restroom in the airport terminal and changed into a pair of blue jeans, a t-shirt, and a pair of sneakers. But I still had a Marine Corps haircut,
Right.
so they spot me right
Yeah,
off.
that wasn't
I
as-
should have got me a big afro, then I'd been good to go.
Right.
But,
Yeah, it's.
but they were, when I came back, and then my wife and her friends had either got student deferments or medical deferments, or they went to Canada to avoid the war. And then they treated me like I was some type of animal or something, because how's it feel to murder women and babies and stuff like that? I said, I never did that, I mean, not on purpose anyway,
Yeah.
and so my wife, she said, well, I said, you've changed, and you're real quiet, and you don't want to protest the war. I just want to be left alone, And then go. I had to stay in the Marine Corps, but I wasn't out yet, so she didn't like that. And so first thing I know, she and my two sons are in Canada, And that's what kept me going in Vietnam. I was thinking I'd come home to my two sons, But things don't always work out the way you plan them. But I'm glad to be here.
What does your wife now that you're married to think of your service?
She really, really respects my service. Her deceased husband, he died about 7 or 8, no, not that long, 5 years ago. He had been in the military, and her father had been in the military, and
So she knows.
she respected the military.
Yeah.
There's so many people now that the only thing they've ever done for their country after they get out of school is to pay taxes.
Yeah.
They haven't gone into the military, they haven't gone in the Peace Corps, they haven't done any type of community service. The only thing they've done for their country is pay their taxes. And then they want to complain about everything that
Yeah.
happens and everything that's done, You know, it's just, I'm a very conservative, extremely conservative Republican.
Mhm.
You know, I don't believe in abortion
Yeah,
and
We're-
a lot
our
of
family's
other
very
things. I'm sure
conservative.
you are with your background here in Alliance,
Mhm.
you're the same way, but I don't know why those people up there in Washington can't get along with each other, you know, and it's just terrible the way the country's gotten. You wonder whether rapture's coming right away or how quick we are, but I don't really have the Antichrist spotted yet that's gonna take over the whole world.
Yeah.
My wife and I are dedicated Christians,
That's
and we believe in the Lord, and we believe in salvation, we believe in the resurrection.
yeah. I don't know who said. I think Dr. Howard told me that you attend the Cowboy Church. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we go to a
Christian
regular
Cowboy
church,
Church?
just a small Baptist church. It's out in the country, it's just beautiful, there's a cemetery next to it, great big oak trees. We ride our horses there and tie them
that's
up to
cool.
the wrought iron gate to the cemetery.
Whoa.
And then we go to Sunday school in church on Sunday. And then Monday night we go to gospel singing at a friend of mine that has a band.
Mhm.
And then Tuesday night we go to Cowboy Church in New Bloomfield. At a big horse arena, it's got like a clubhouse on one end of it, a fireplace and a kitchen. It's pretty nice. And
Yeah.
then Wednesday night we go to Bible study. So
Wow, you guys are busy.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
kind of tied up, you know.
You guys definitely take your faith seriously.
That's
I
good.
do,
awesome.
I do.
That's definitely good.
I'm trying to become a better Christian, a more mature Christian. It's about time, right? I'm 70 years old.
You're 70? Wow.
Yeah.
You don't look it.
Thanks.
You look very young.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I really respect that doctor. The doctor seems like a very nice person.
Oh yeah.
She,
I love
she
Dr.
is.
Howard. She's
Yeah.
great. And then, okay, does he need to sign these, or are these ours?
No, I think he needs to sign them.
Does he need to write all this again?
You need to keep these, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We need these.
And these, I don't know.
Oh, also the photograph. Oh,
I just wanted you to have a better understanding of my background before
Yeah.
you interviewed me. You know.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad I read that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My wife said that's way too much information for a couple high school girls.
Uh,
I said, well,
it's
these
fine.
kids now, they're not, you know, they're not sheltered that much.
Yeah, we're not. How are we
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
do
it's
the, okay, so does he need to fill this out?
Is the interview technically over?
Oh, yeah, I should go get it.
Okay.
Sick.
Well, that was wonderful. It was
I
awesome.
was glad to do it. I'm just glad, you know.
I think we're finished. Can you turn it on?